Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink. It is time for some Path of Exile discussion. It is unquestionably true that the very best Eldritch Altar mod that you can get is 1.6 to 3.2% chance to drop an additional Divine Orb when you slay an Eldritch minion. However, I'm going to recommend that you opt out of any chance of getting this extremely good altar, and that you instead set up your Atlas to be on the Searing Exarch side. Why is that? There's a couple of main reasons for it. The first one is that in patch 3.21, Divine Orbs are a little bit cheaper than they were in patch 3.20, and additionally, Awakened Sextants are far more valuable than they've been in a while. With Awakened Sextants starting to push towards 40 to the Divine, this means that getting the Awakened Sextant mods that you can get on the Searing Exarch side ends up more than making up for the Divine Orb options on the Eater side. The reason for this is that Searing Exarch altars are about 45 times as likely to have the Sextant mods as Eater altars are to have Divine Orb mods. This is partly because of the increased drop weighting. The drop weighting on the Searing Exarch Awakened Sextant mod is 21,000 compared to 1,000 for the Eater of Worlds Divine Orb mods. But additionally, the Eater of Worlds side is flooded with a whole bunch of really low end currencies, and they have extremely high drop weightings. Alteration Orbs, 160,000 drop weight. Chromatic Orbs, 160,000 drop weight. Jeweler's Orbs, 160,000 drop weight. And whilst you probably won't be that upset about seeing these, Fusing Orbs, 100,000 drop weight. All of these low-end currencies flood the pool with so much extra garbage that it ends up being much harder to roll the thing you really care about, which is this ridiculously good Divine Orb mod. I have also made a spreadsheet that has all of this data mine information about how rare each individual altar mod is, and has also included today's pricing information for those items with the best estimate that I can come up with where there's an RNG element there. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video below. I have uploaded that spreadsheet to my blog, so you'll be able to get it from there. With that in mind, the Searing Exarch side has a lot going for it this league. The other thing that's worth pointing out though is that it's not just a question of getting the Awakened Sextants versus the Divine Orbs. There's a lot of other things that are available on the Searing Exarch side that don't really have any competition on the Eater of Worlds side. That said, I do want to quickly point out that one of the most common things you can get on the Eater of Worlds side is actually slightly better than I've given it credit for in the past. I've run some numbers to try and estimate what the average value of a divination card which rewards basic currency is. Now, all of this is based upon the assumption that divination cards are awarded from this in line with their usual drop rates. So for instance, in normal gameplay, it appears that the divination card, the Hoarder, which is a set of 12 for one Exalted Orb, is about 48 times as rare as the divination card Reign of Chaos, which is a set of 8 for one Chaos Orb. Now, I am then assuming that this is also going to flow onto these altars, that an altar that says drop a divination card which rewards basic currency will give you 48 copies of Reign of Chaos for every one the Hoarder that drops. Now, the reason I think that this divination card reward is better than we've considered it to be in the past is that it turns out that mirror shards are considered basic currency. Now, I had thought that these were league currency. They're actually basic currency. I did check all of the divination cards that award mirror shards, and they're all tagged as basic currency instead. So this is 7 years bad luck and unrequited love. You're very unlikely to see 7 years bad luck and even less likely to see unrequited love from a particular one of these divination cards. But because these cards are worth so much, they add a considerable amount to the expected value. Additionally, you have Brother's Gift now, as well as Divine Beauty, as well as the pre-existing divination card, the Sephiroth. All of these add a considerable amount of value to these divination cards. It's my estimate though that something like 70% of the wealth that you will get out of these random divination cards will be from divination cards that award Divine Orbs. Something like 17% will be from divination cards that award Mirrors of Kalandra or Mirror Shards. And then something like 10% will be from divination cards that award Exalted Orbs. Of the rest, not many are actually worth turning in, and that's because the time that you spend turning in the divination cards may not really be worth your while. You'll probably turn in the ones that grant 17 Chromatic Orbs, you'll definitely turn in the ones that grant 5 Chaos Orbs, and you'll probably turn in the ones that grant 10 Cartographer's Chisels, but most of the rest will end up sitting in your divination stash tab. However, if you like variance, the Searing Exarch has even more for you than the Eater of Worlds does. 1.6 to 3.2% chance to drop an additional divination card which rewards unique jewelry. This is an apothecary lottery. It's not strictly just apothecary. You can also get Price of Devotion, you can get Insane Cat, you can get the Demon, you can get the Fiend, you can get the Doctor. But most of the value of this is actually in apothecary drops. And the apothecary is worth so much that having a 1 in 5,000 or 1 in 8,000 chance to get an apothecary is actually a pretty significant reward that tends to add up. Because of this, I estimate the value of these divination cards, these random divination cards that award unique jewelry, to have an expected value not all that much lower than an Awakened Sextant. Details are in the spreadsheet again. The divination cards that reward a corrupted unique item are sort of okay as well. They don't have the apothecary, they don't have the doctor, but they do have the other divination cards for Headhunter and for Mageblood, which are rarer than apothecary and doctor, but they're still okay and they still add some significant value there. And there's a few other things as well. Divination card that awards a unique map has a reasonable chance to give you one of the Cortex cards, and so that ends up being another significant little contributor to the overall expected value that you'll get there. Additionally, the Searing Exarch side has the better Scarabs, with Divination Scarabs being present, although that's not a huge gap because the other side has Ambush. All in all, there's a lot going for the Searing Exarch, and I'm going to recommend that you respec into the Searing Exarch at the moment. When would this advice cease to be accurate? I think this advice ceases to be accurate if Divine Orbs exceed 55 Awakened Sextants again in the future. If we get to that point, then I think that the two different options are reasonably equal again. But for the moment, if your character is capable of handling the Searing Exarch downsides, then I'm going to recommend that you allocate Wrath of the Cosmos and that you map Searing Exarch. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you want to download the spreadsheet, link down in the description below. May your Orbs have interesting results, and I'll see you around.